subconscious is motivated by emotion, right? No reason. We need to find a way to translate this into an emotional concept. Hey, yo, we could suggest him breaking up his father's company as a screw you to the old man. No, because positive emotion trumps negative emotion every time. We all yearn for reconciliation, for catharsis. We need Robert Fisher to have a positive emotional reaction to all this. All right, we'll try this. My father accepts that I want to create for myself, not following his footsteps. That might work.
An idea is like a virus, resilient, highly contagious, and even the smallest seed.
Oh my god, I am terrified of Dominic Cobb right now.
To define or destroy you. Now let me get back into my rocket ship. Episode 3. I'm Leslie, and
I'm Matt.
And this is Chatting Pitch. So what we got this week?
Before we did... What did we do before? You asked me a completely different question. But before we did dropping characters into other movies. And then with this episode, we thought we would try something slightly different, which was recasting movies. So we thought, it's been 10 years since it came out. So we thought we'd try it with the movie Inception. For those of you who don't know, it's directed by Christopher Nolan. It's got Leonardo DiCaprio as well as some others in. It's all about these thieves that are trying to steal ideas in people's dreams, and they get hired to implant an idea in someone's mind. It's a little highbrow, but it's also very exciting. Lots of action.
Steal ideas? It's almost like what Hollywood does. Hey! Jesus Christ, right?
Anyway, this week.
This week, yeah. I mean, it sounds like a good idea. And, you've written something. Like, this is... I had no prior knowledge of this, but I turned up at Matt's house, and he's got a notepad with a giant paragraph.
These are my... it's titled Opening Remarks. It's about a page.
Well, why don't you go ahead and read it for us?
Well, I was going to say... I didn't know if you wanted to go first. Who would be in your...
Oh, okay.
Your Inception.
So you've prepared something. You've prepared a scenario.
What we've done there is we've teased the listener, and now we're forcing him to carry on listening.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to do my bit until you do yours.
Okay, so lay it on me. Ask me the question.
Okay, so first of all, we needed to decide the genre. So what genre are you going for?
Well, I thought, what better than bring a modern classic... Would it be a classic? Yeah, it is a classic, isn't
I would say
Inception is a modern classic.
Yeah.
And throw it back a decade or two. Specifically back into the 90s. A 90s action movie. That's what I wanted to do.
So, first off, we need to decide Chris Nolan was around back then.
He was.
Not as big as he is now. So who would you have directing? Because this is like a $200 million picture.
Okay. And who are the biggest action directors of the 90s? Well, I guess... I don't want to go with the generic... I want to say James Cameron, but he was kind of at his height in the 80s, right?
Okay.
Or early 90s.
Terminator 2 was early 90s.
What was it? 1992, I think, or something like that, yeah. But, I mean, Terminator 2, I think that was, like, one of the best action movies.
If you're talking classic films.
Yeah. So let's just go James Cameron.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I have a soft spot for True Lies, if you've ever seen that. What a film.
Although it does have that troubling dance scene.
Oh, yeah, where Jamie Lee Curtis has a very high whatever she's wearing.
She has to dance for Arnie. It's I just can't imagine being on the set that day.
I just remember watching it for the first time, and...
I was 4.
I was watching it for the first time. I think I was in like secondary school, but I just couldn't forget what she was wearing, and it was just this very overly exaggerated kind of bikini.
Right.
But it went so far above her waist that it almost looked like she was wearing like some sort of diaper or something.
Right.
I don't know what she was wearing. It was a very strange thing. But yeah, weird movie. Weird scene from a movie.
Weird scene.
Great movie.
It's an odd one. Yeah, because I think I watched it maybe a bit later in my life. So the first time I watched it, my first impression was just like, what the hell is this? Like, why have they put this in here as well?
Yeah.
I can sort of see why they put it in there, because it was supposed to be her character being taken out of her comfort zone.
Yeah.
Oh, but it was so strange. It was so strange.
Could have done without that scene.
And that's even like I don't think that's me being sort of hypersensitive on her behalf or anything like. It's not like I watched it last week.
No.
Where perhaps people are a bit more aware.
We've gone on a tangent about how we feel about Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just it must have just been strange on the set. I think that was my prevailing thought, having watched it. Like that must have been a strange day.
Yeah. Well, I tend not to think about that scene, and the one scene that sticks out to my mind there's two. One was when the main bad guy gets like killed by a giant rocket launcher, and Arnie just goes, "You're fired."
Yeah. Yes.
That was one of my favorite moments. And the other moment was on the bridge where I think some bad guys are just stuck on a lorry, and they're just on a bit of a 45, maybe 90 degree angle, just on the edge of the bridge.
Right.
And then the van falls, not from even that far of a height, and it just explodes.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's just like an unnecessary large explosion to such a small fall.
It's sort of like, it's almost Michael Bay.
It's almost Michael Bay.
Yeah.
It was kind of, I think they were going for a bit of a tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah, or the whole film, like the opening sequence where Arnie turns up and he's like, "Where's your invitation? Here's my invitation." And there's that massive explosion. I think the film early on says to the audience, like...
Yeah, this is not a serious film.
Yeah. You need to be a little bit aware of, like, have you seen Terminator 2? Have you seen other action films?
Yeah. Hey, how about that bit where the guy's trying to record in a video? Like a terrorist video? Yes. And the battery runs out of cameras, and the guy's just like sweating so much behind the camera.
Yeah. He thinks the camera's about to run out of power.
He's like, "What's wrong?" And the guy goes, "Battery, Aziz." Do you remember that?
I remember that scene. I don't remember the exact dialogue.
We'll get another one. Anyway, we've gone into a massive tangent.
So that's why we've got James Cameron directing your version of Inception. So who have you got? I've got the cast list here. So who have you got replacing the big one, Leonardo DiCaprio? So,
as Dominic Cole. Leonardo DiCaprio was still a big, he was a 90s heartthrob from Titanic. But he wasn't an action hero.
No.
Who was an action hero? Well, let me think. I think the best person in that scenario, because you needed someone who was serious, someone who's not overly muscular, like we can't get Arnie in there because I think he's just a bit too much. I think Keanu Reeves.
Oh,
Keanu Reeves from the 90s, because he did Speed.
Yeah.
And he did The Matrix.
And he didn't do Speed 2.
He didn't do Speed 2.
Also very intelligent.
Yeah. Cruise Control.
That was a good move, him.
I just remember Willem Dafoe putting leeches on his chest.
Oh.
Because he wanted... I don't know why he did it. I remember watching that in the cinema, just thinking, why is he doing that to himself?
But thinking about it, Keanu Reeves, some people, deride him. He has made some really good films.
Yeah,
particularly in that genre.
Yeah. Did you ever watch that movie before The Matrix called Johnny Mnemonic, which was this hyper sci-fi thing?
I've only heard of it.
It was terrible.
Right.
But I remember having a soft spot for it because it was just so weird.
Okay.
And I remember feeling like I was the only one who'd seen this movie because no one knew about Johnny Mnemonic. But I found it in... This was back before DVDs came out. I got it on VCD, which is like a video CD, where all the information of the film couldn't be put onto one disc, so it was split in two parts. So like side A and side B. So I had to flip the disc.
Wow.
But yeah, it's a weird film. I don't really remember much from it, but I just remember Keanu Reeves shouting really loud, and then another scene where this guy had almost a. It had parallels to Fifth Element in a way. Like it had that campy science fiction type genre.
That is a great movie for me.
It is a great movie.
I'm not sure about the ending. Not convinced.
I can't remember what happened in the ending. What happened in the end of Fifth Element?
It just seemed to... For me, it just seemed to end.
Oh.
It just seemed to end. Whereas the build-up to it was so good. I know that people are a bit... I get the impression, looking online, that people are quite undecided about Chris Tucker's character. Some people love him. Some people...
Corbin Dallas!
Super green. People, I think you can probably guess why some people hate the character.
I don't know why, but I loved it when I watched it for the first time because I just found him really funny.
Yeah.
And that's all I remember from his character, just him going, Corbin, Dennis! And then saying super green all the time. And then him being on the roof, and then I think Bruce Willis shoots a hole around him, and then he falls down, he just screams.
Like yeah, I think his...
The highlight of Chris Tucker's career.
I think his whole performance can be summed up by this noise. Ah! Oh my god! Please, I'm gonna die!
That's what he sounds like. Anyway...
There's no way we didn't, clip there.
We definitely clipped there.
So Keanu Reeves. Okay, Keanu Reeves. Who do you go for?
Do we want to talk about why he should be, or do we just want to recast him and then talk about that later?
I think if we're taking this approach of just like we're two Hollywood executives, we've heard the title of the film, we know it's Inception, the writer has gone, do you want to hear what it's about? And we're like, no. We know it's an action movie, and we just want the biggest stars. And I think, I didn't think it before, but Keanu Reeves is a shoo-in.
Yeah.
Especially during the 90s. Even now, though. But during the 90s, as one of the big stars.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. I can't think of any other movies other than Johnny Mnemonic, The Matrix, and Speed that he did in the 90s.
Point Break?
Yes, 90s, he did. He
Catherine
did.
Bigelow.
Yeah, that's it.
He's been in some big franchises as well since then. I hate that word, franchise.
Vehicle. Do you like that word? When they go like, oh, that's a Vin Diesel vehicle.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
I think that,
Fast and Furious.
But in every other actor they're talking about, it's a star vehicle.
Yeah. Anyway, we've got Keanu Reeves. What's the next character
of Arthur, which is Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, right?
I call him Jogo Levitt.
So he's kind of like he's intelligent. He doesn't have a lot of imagination.
He's a bit of not a downer, but he's very quick. He's a bit negative. He'll shoot down your idea if it's not like a normal person.
Yeah, idea. So a little bit up his arse.
Maybe a little bit up himself.
A little bit up himself. Up his arse. Is that even a phrase?
That is a phrase.
It is a phrase. A little bit up himself. Yeah. So let me just think. Someone who's a little bit up himself.
Who's not afraid to step out of the limelight. Because he's not... he's not like Tom Hardy's character who's got that great bit of like... You mustn't be afraid to dream a little bigger, darling.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of someone who almost looks a bit like Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Okay.
That could play that character back in the 90s. I'm really digging through my brain here. You know what? I've got the perfect character. Before he went a bit weird.
Okay.
Let's just go all the way back to John Connor himself from Terminator 2.
Oh, Edward Furlong.
Edward Furlong, yeah. I feel like he could probably... Because he was a little bit bratty in that film, but at this point... Later on in the 90s,
so we're
when
thinking
Keanu Reeves,
98, 99, aren't we?
Yeah. So later on, when Keanu Reeves was in the height of his career with The Matrix, Eddie Furlong would have been a little bit older.
Okay.
And he could have cleaned up a little bit, got a haircut.
Yeah.
He's still quite slim. He's young, just like how Joseph Gordon-Levitt looked like in Inception. He had that kind of persona.
Yeah.
So that's why I would choose that.
Okay.
And he was the what was his role again? Sorry, you said he was
Arthur.
No, not Arthur. No, that's his name. What was his role in Inception?
Oh.
Because you've got the architect, you've got the, the forger.
He was just a guy.
He was just a guy.
He was like...
There must have been
people
something.
talk about how the film has parallels between Leonardo DiCaprio's character is the director of the film.
Oh, into filmmaking, right.
And Tom Hardy's character is the actor because he can change into people. And I think...
So is Arthur the author?
I think Arthur...
Is he the author?
I saw him as more like the producer type.
Okay.
Like he's got a to-do list. He's gonna arrange things for you. He's the guy that you want to go to if you want stuff done.
Okay. Right. Gotcha.
The next on my list, I've got Ariadne. Played by Ellen Page.
Right. I can just see. I just saw your notes a little bit. I saw who you. I'm not going to say anything, but yeah. Okay. Ellen Page. So we need obviously a female actress who...
She's used... I don't want to be a downer because I love this film, but Ariadne as a character a lot of the time is just asking questions.
Yeah.
And it's almost like that's for the audience. Whose dream are we going into now? What does that mean? What's this thing?
But she's also a student, so she has to be a young actress, I feel.
And I would say, just for practicality, she needs to be younger because her character in your film is also going to be kissing Edward Furlong.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel like
that's
if
true.
you're, casting...
In that case, I will go ahead and choose not a very popular actress at the time, but she was in True Lies, the one who played the girl, Eliza Dushku.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because they were around the same sort of age at the time. So that could work.
Yeah, because I think she was just under... She was about, 18 when she was doing Buffy.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Buffy could have been a good one.
Oh, what, Sarah Michelle
Sarah
Gellar?
Michelle Gellar. Was she in the 90s? I think...
Buffy was 90s.
Buffy was 90s, yeah.
I think.
I think... she was a bigger name, wasn't she? I'd say Sarah Michelle Gellar was a much bigger name than Eliza Dushku at the time. Because she was more of a supporting character, wasn't she?
I suppose it's what sort of character Ariadne is, though, because she's...
I'm basing this kind of on looks, though, because Eliza Dushku looks a little bit like she's brunette. She's kind of... I don't know how tall she is, but she looks about the similar kind of frame.
Right.
I feel like she's the kind of person who would be asking a lot of questions.
Okay.
So that's her. That's her done.
Okay, so the next one I've got is Eames, who's played by Tom Hardy.
Okay. Eames is Tom Hardy.
Kind of a cool, relaxed kind of guy.
Relaxed guy.
Confident.
Cool, relaxed. If we're going to be talking 90s action, I think it'll be really funny to get Dolph Lundgren.
Okay. Okay.
Because he's kind of
what, as Eames?
Slightly buffer. He had a very chiseled jaw at the time.
Well, my wife thinks he looks like a Ken doll.
Yeah, he does look like a Ken doll. Yeah. I think, I'm going to go with Dolph Lundgren because, I mean, he doesn't really do a lot of action, Tom Hardy, in that film, but he does wield a gun.
He does have that sequence where he's on the snowmobile.
Yeah,
and he
that
does lots
James
of
Bond
jumping
sequence.
And beating up things.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with Dolph Lundgren. This is like an all-star cast here.
It is money.
Yeah, money flying everywhere. This is a Dolph Lundgren vehicle.
Next we've got... Don't you dare. So we've got Sato.
Oh, as in...
Sato or Saito?
Saito.
Played by Ken Watanabe.
Well, obviously you have to get sort of a Japanese actor, but what was a Japanese actor at the time?
See, I don't want to say who mine is, but I haven't gone that way.
No. I guess it doesn't have to be, because I think...
I don't think it has to be the same race.
No, it doesn't have to be the same race, does it? Well, in that case, we don't have to have the same genders either.
No.
We could have had anyone play the architect. But let's think. So we had... What kind of a character was he in the film then? Saito, he was the guy who funded...
He's Mr. Moneybags,
He's the Mr. Moneybags.
He's a guy who maybe expects things to get done for him. Like, I'm going to hire you, I'm going to pay you money, you're going to get it done for me. Or I'm going to give you some sort of payment, and you're going to get it done for me. Generally
like an older guy who's quite established.
A bit of a statesman.
Let me think. From the 90s. Oh, God, I don't know. This is a difficult one.
We can come back to it. Let your brain think about it. The next one we have is Yusuf, who was the guy... Oh, I can't remember who played him now. I'm going to get...
But what did he do? Because if you describe his character...
He was the guy who came up with the
Is he the medicine guy? Yeah. He's the medicine guy.
He is the medicine guy in the story. Yeah, he's the one who drives the van while they're all asleep in the back.
Oh, you know what? I've got the perfect person.
Dilip Rao? I'm sorry.
Hopefully you haven't got this person.
Okay.
Hopefully. I haven't looked at your notes.
Go on.
But if you do, don't tell me. So, the medicine guy...
Right.
None other than, drum roll please, Jeff Goldblum.
Oh,
yeah.
That is completely not who I've gone with. But
because I can see him donning like a science coat, just going, yes, well, we've got this sedative.
They're called lab coats.
No, it's a science coat. It's a science coat. Yeah, he's just going like, well, yes, I've got this sedative.
Do you? And he's got like a smile on his face. He's like a bit cheeky. Do you still dream? I bet you do.
Yeah. You got one of those little nightmares.
See, that's where I've had most of the fun. Is the looking at quotes for Inception and imagining them being said.
Yeah.
And now Yusuf. Ooh.
Oh, I've just found my Ken Watanabe replacement.
Go on.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh!
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting that you say that.
From his Men in Black days. Because
Okay.
he is, he was sort of like an older gentleman. He's a little bit more wiser. He kind of looks like the white version of Ken Watanabe in a way, if you kind of look at. And plus, fun fact: Tommy Lee Jones is the spokesman for Japanese coffee.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
he made that.
He made that weird, strange
advert.
advert. Yeah,
That's really weird.
yeah. Anyway,
Now, if it's Tommy Lee Jones, do you really lean into it? Is he like a Texan oil man?
yeah.
Now, I want you to go in there and
Steal that dream.
steal them dream or whatever you guys do.
We sound exactly
you're
like Tommy Lee
crazy.
Jones. Yeah,
Yeah.
That was him.
That was him
Yeah.
in the room right now.
Was there any more characters?
So we did Yusuf, didn't we? Mal.
Miles.
Don's ex-wife.
Don's ex-wife.
Tragically, spoilers for a 10-year-old film, tragically dies.
Yeah. But that was kind of within the first half an hour of the film anyway, so that's not exactly a spoiler.
So originally played by, I've forgotten her name.
French
now.
woman. What was her name?
Marion Cotillard.
Is that
I think
the name?
I think that's how you pronounce it.
Marion French lady?
Marion French lady.
Well, if we think about 90s action films, a lot of them really kind of had it all plastered on their posters and trailers that like they had to have that hot girl being
Yeah.
the one.
I will
You can't-
say that's the way
That's the way you've gone, yeah.
With that part, yeah.
So when I'm thinking about 90s babes, if or what have you, I don't
You
actually
sound
know.
75 right now.
Thank you. I take that as a compliment.
But you look 68.
Oh God, I feel like I might have the same person as you.
Go on.
Because at the time in the 90s, I'm just looking through a bunch of 90s action films right now. You know what? I'm going to try and come up with one that I think you haven't, because I'm trying my best not to look at your notes.
I'm going to keep my notes hidden.
In the 90s, Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
From Entrapment. Remember that film?
Yeah. That's the one with Sean Connery.
Yeah, the one with Sean Connery, and then
Have
there's
to
that.
go under the lasers.
yeah. Basically that scene, like but that's who I could think of.
Okay.
I almost went with another one, but just in case, I'm not going to say her name in case you have that
Okay.
same person. But unfortunately, a couple of your names, because you've written it down,
Yeah.
I had seen.
My apologies. I shouldn't
it's
have
fine.
left them right next to your
Yeah.
face.
That's fine.
So
and
we've
that's all the characters then, yeah?
We've got two minor ones if you want to do them.
Okay, sure.
So we've got Fisher,
Yeah.
Cillian Murphy,
Yeah.
and we've got Browning. Do you remember Browning? Plays the guy who works with Fisher's dad.
The guy who works with Fisher's dad. Who does he get played by?
Played by... That's going to annoy me now. Let's get...
Well, I have...
Tom Berenger.
Tom Berenger.
I'm going to get a photo of him from Inception. That guy.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah?
Yeah. Okay.
The one that they try and use to persuade.
The one that Tom Hardy pretends to be.
Yes. Yeah. So that's two.
I've got an idea of who I want the Cillian Murphy guy to be.
Go on.
Christian Slater.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he had that kind
True
of similar-
romance.
True
in the
romance. Yeah.
90s.
He has that sort of kind of look in a way. He wasn't buff, but he was like, I think he's like slim enough.
He could do action.
He could do action. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we're talking about recasting. We're not going to actually come up with the, with the plot.
No.
But no, this is good.
We're thinking the plot stays the same. The only thing that changes is maybe because it's the 90s, everyone wears suits that are a little bit too big.
Yeah. Big shoulder pads.
Big shoulder pad. Well, that's 80s, I think.
That's 80s. Oh, that's true.
These are just suits that are maybe too big. They're just too roomy.
Yeah. And then what was the last one? That guy who was
Browning.
Browning, right?
Gravy Browning.
And what
was
did
his
he
name.
do? Like, he was the guy who works with the dad.
He works with the dad, but then he also gets...
He's the guy who did the Inception, in a way, right?
Kind of.
He's the guy who talks Cillian Murphy into,
Yeah.
taking over the company. Was he going to take over the company instead of selling it? Is that what the plot of the movie was.
Yeah, the figure of Brownie, so not actually Brownie himself,
Yeah.
says to Cillian Murphy's character Fisher that his dad,
His dying wish was for him to
try and be my own man. I think Fisher says
something like that. Anyway, 90s. I'm gonna go Tom Hanks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
See, I considered
that could
Tom
work.
Hanks, and I did wonder.
That could work.
Okay.
That could work. Yeah, because he was slightly older gentleman at the time.
Yeah. There's not much action.
Not
No
much
offense to Tom Hanks,
No.
but I don't see him as one of those all-out action guys.
But he was a bit of a drama guy. Even the character itself was mainly drama. He was just a spoken dialogue kind of person. But yeah, I think Tom Hanks would work.
All right.
I think I might have to at least mention Tom Hanks every episode.
Good.
Okay, let's hear yours.
Okay, so I've got some opening remarks.
Yeah.
I felt like I had to write these down.
Okay. Let's hear it.
So, as the pioneering science fiction editor Donald A. Wilhelm said, science fiction builds on science fiction. Everything is a remix, nothing is original. On the straight line of time, which we hurtle along like a speeding train, we are told we cannot go backwards. However, if we were to somehow exit the train, if we could leave the carriage, perhaps via the snack bar, and look down upon ourselves like maybe God might, we would see that everything is cyclical. That despite the excitement of the train ride, despite the distractions and the bells and whistles, we would see that everything comes back on itself, like Odysseus' journey back home. Which is why I'm going to have Sly Stallone be the guy who holds the big gun. So first off, Sylvester Stallone.
That whole paragraph was just a lead up to you saying Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
I got up really early this morning to write that.
Well, thank you for sharing, mate. That's real insight into your brain.
So that's the first one. Eames would be Sylvester Stallone.
Eames
although
would
I
be
did
Sly.
write possibly Harrison Ford.
Okay. Oh, possibly.
As Tom Hardy's character.
Yeah.
But I just like the idea of
You might want
Sylvester.
to put your notepad a little bit away from me so I can be a bit more surprised because I can currently see all your answers.
But I like the idea of Sylvester Stallone like being,
Yeah.
hey, yo, you should have told us that if we died, we go to limbo, you know? he's just like shrugging his shoulders the way that Rocky does.
It's Judgment Day.
Like,
no, that's the wrong movie.
Like he's 90% Rocky and 10% Rambo in this movie.
Okay.
So most of the time he's like, hey, you're Paulie, but then he gets the big gun out.
Okay. I went on a completely different direction.
Oh, yeah, you'll see where I'm going with this.
Okay.
Director, again, James Cameron.
Oh, we got the same director?
Yeah,
okay.
I thought, follow up possibly to True Lies or follow up to Terminator 2.
Yep.
We know why. You specifically said this person would not make it onto your cast list.
Right.
So, Dominic Cobb.
Yeah.
All-American guy.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. He is he is definitely 100% American.
100% American.
Yeah.
We have to get out of this dream.
Put the sedative down!
If it keeps spinning, you know what that means.
You're in a dream!
You're in a dream.
Perfect.
Oh, wow.
Perfect.
So that's why Arnie would make it.
Yeah.
Who
else? Who else have we got?
Let me just check my notes.
See, I didn't even think about these people doing the lines. I was just thinking seriously about
You're waiting for a train.
Yeah. It's about to come.
It's
Don't let it hit your head. You might be alive. You could be dreaming. And then the rest goes on.
And the rest goes on.
Yeah.
So next, Arthur, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah.
I thought Tommy Lee Jones for this character.
Okay.
Because he's
a
a
much
bit
older gentleman.
kind of curmudgeonly Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
Putting down ideas. Or I did think Wesley Snipes.
Okay.
Just slot him in there.
From Demolition Man?
From Demolition Man. That's exactly what I was thinking.
With the hair and everything?
Like him.
And the dungarees?
Yeah. Like him and Sly bouncing off each other.
Right.
Like they did in Demolition Man.
Okay. Oh, because of the chemistry. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great chemistry.
Yeah.
Awesome chemistry. Ariadne, I went the James Cameron link, I went Sigourney Weaver.
Oh.
I was just looking. I was watching some of the scenes this morning from Inception. I thought Sigourney Weaver could do that character. She's got like the gravitas.
Hey, wait, you watched Inception this morning to prepare for this podcast?
A couple of scenes, yeah. I feel like she'd have the gravitas to pull that off, and she can do action.
Yeah,
that much is obvious from Alien and Aliens.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
Eames we've talked about. Saito, originally I went Al Pacino.
Okay.
I bought the airline! but it's not a place for tourists! And then he just walks around.
You can't see this, but Matt just almost impersonated a gorilla.
but I had to go with final choice was Pierce Brosnan.
Oh, okay, from Goldeneye.
I thought he would just be smooth as butter. Yeah. Like I just imagined, that.
Go on, let's hear a Pierce Brosnan.
I'm not going to do an impression, but that bit where Saito says, "I bought the airline," like that coming out of Pierce Brosnan's mouth would just be so smooth, and you'd just be like, "Yeah, of course you bought the airline because you're smooth as anything."
Yeah.
And again, James Bond.
Yeah.
So there's that link.
Yeah.
Yusuf.
Who have you got for Yusuf? Medicine Man.
Two options.
Yeah.
Carl Weathers, because I liked the idea of.
Wait, am I thinking of the right person? Carl Weathers, as in the guy from. Is it Predator? Predator, yeah. What was that one line that he says? The really famous handshake.
Sexual Tyrannosaurus, just like me. Oh, there's the handshake as well.
Handshake
the manliest handshake in film history.
What he goes? What was his character's name?
What was it? Commando. Dylan.
And
What's wrong, Dylan? Too much.
You're pushing too many pencils.
So that idea.
That guy. Okay, yeah.
And it's sort of that same relationship. They don't like deride him. He's like a nerdy guy, but he's still clearly Carl Weathers.
But was he?
Really huge.
Was he popular in the 90s?
I did think 90s might be a bit late.
Yeah.
So I thought instead.
He's not going to come back. He was in The Mandalorian recently. Yeah. But then we're not talking about right now. We're talking about the 90s.
I think it would be a bit too late for him. So I thought this next guy could do the theme song because it's the 90s.
Oh, mate, we didn't talk about the production crew, but yeah.
LL Cool J. LL Cool J.
What was that one song he did in the 90s? We can't play it in the podcast because the copyright.
I won't play it, but I'll see if I can look it up. But I think he'd be a perfect replacement for Dilip Rao.
Yeah.
As Yusuf.
Oh, you're talking about LL Cool J being the character and doing the soundtrack.
Yeah.
I see.
Because that's what they did in the 90s, didn't they?
Yeah. Like Men in Black.
One of the stars would do the song.
Will Smith.
Before the
original... It's the men in.
Yeah. Originally it was Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
With a milk jug and a washboard. But then they thought, no, get out. We'll get the other guy to do it. See what he comes up with.
Yeah.
And then it was Will Smith. But
God, can you imagine what the Men in Black soundtrack would be like with Tommy Lee Jones?
Can you imagine?
Bing, 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 bing. All this rainbow in black.
We're really painting a picture here.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the Inception soundtrack as done by as
LL Cool J
composed by LL Cool J?
No, I can't.
And instead of Hans Zimmer,
it would just be like because in the 90s there was a really popular, like especially early 90s, a popular genre called New Jack Swing, and a lot of Michael Jackson's 90s music sounded like that.
Yeah,
like, dangerous. Yeah. And I remember LL Cool J doing music slightly like that at the time.
Right.
But I don't remember any of his music. I just remember him.
Didn't he do one for Deep Blue Sea? Did he do a song for that? And he played
it's a big shark. It's a big.
And he played the chef, didn't he, with the parrot?
I think so. I don't remember Deep Blue Sea very much.
It's.
I just remember that one scene from Samuel Jackson.
Something. Yeah.
Yeah. That
we gotta
one
close
famous
this hole.
Yeah. What else have you got?
So last few, Mal. Yeah, I went like 90s, and I thought she was quite big in the 90s. She did like 3. I think it was maybe consecutive years.
Yeah.
She was in quite big films, culminating in one of the James Bonds with Pierce Brosnan in.
Okay.
I want to say The World Is Not Enough, but I could be wrong.
What's her name?
Denise Richards.
Denise Richards. Was she also in Starship Troopers?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
she
her.
was.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yep.
Really good film, by the way.
Great film. Very tongue-in-cheek.
Chris showed it to me. I thought, like, oh, it's just going to be a load of old rubbish.
Oh, it's a super clever film. Like, it's a satire against America, right?
Yeah. And it undercuts what you think it's going to be if you're pretentious like me.
Yeah.
The last
I just remember the big monster at the end that looks a bit like a, you know what.
An alien.
An alien, yeah.
So I'll say Browning, Stephen Tobolowsky, who was, the guy from Groundhog Day?
No, I don't remember.
Tries to sell Bill Murray insurance.
Stephen, hold on, how do you spell his name?
Stephen Tobolowsky. He's been in lots of things. He was the bad guy in Heroes, or one of the bad guys in Heroes.
Oh, yeah, I know the guy.
Ned! Yeah. Ned Ryerson!
Okay, and he's who,
he's,
sorry?
Browning.
Browning, which is...
the guy who works with Fisher's dad.
Gotcha. Yeah, I see him. He's almost like a older Paul Giamatti.
Yeah. And then finally, I think this is like my dark horse one.
Yeah.
So Robert Fisher.
Uh-huh.
Is it Robert Fisher? I can't remember which one the dad is. But Cillian Murphy's character.
Yes.
I was thinking either Elijah Wood.
Oh, yeah.
Because he'd been in some stuff.
Yeah.
Back to the Future.
He was quite young there, wasn't he?
Deep Impact.
Yeah.
He was a bit older, so I'm thinking that sort of age.
Okay, sure.
Or a young Val Kilmer.
That could be a good one.
I think I'd go Val Kilmer out of those
from
two. From
Top Gun.
Yeah.
Or from Batman.
yeah. Straight off of Batman, he comes in and plays the young Fisher.
Yeah. Yeah, so I can see that. I can see that.
We've got very different movies there. I feel like mine almost leans into 80s action.
Yeah, I don't really know any lines that Cillian Murphy's character did. And
get this bag off my head.
What are the numbers? Tell me the numbers.
Oh, he does. 5, 2, 8, 4, 9, 1. I remember that because I'm a massive nerd.
I thought you remember that because you watched it this morning.
No, I didn't watch that bit, but I know the number anyway because I know how to prioritize my life. I'm trying to find some quotes for him, but I can't find any.
Well, tell you what though, I think that's a good time to end it.
Yeah.
Because we've gone... Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty decent... I think that's pretty good. Hey, that's a pretty good episode. I've been Leslie, you've been...
I've been Matt. And I guess next time we haven't really decided what we'll do.
No.
What other ideas have we got?
Oh, we've got plenty of ideas.
We might do another one of these. We might do changing genres of movies to a more extreme.
Ooh.
So we could have done Inception as a musical.
It's a very 90s thing to make things extreme with an X.
With an X.
Take the E
2
out.
X's if possible.
Yeah. 3 X's. Oh, it becomes a bit dirty.
Oh.
Oh.
4 X's, you get a little bit drunk.
Yeah. 5 X's.
5X, you're just really fat.
Yeah. 6 X's.
6 X's, you're even fatter.
Yeah.
I don't know what else has X's.
It's just fat from here.
Yeah.
The more X's, the more fat.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it. So we'll see you next time, and take care, drink responsibly, and don't forget to look both ways before you cross the road. King of the road. Remember that advert? Yeah.